One's good, one's bad, yeah, they're really always like this. We don't know who's who, but at least we know who Mike is. They love to complain, they got sports on the brain, and they frequently drive each other insane. It's the good and the bad and the Mike. The good and the bad and the Mike. The good and the bad and the Mike. It's the good and the bad and the Mike.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Mike. I'm Oisin. That's Cian.
Hello.
And that's Mike.
Hello.
And let's just jump straight into the news. Although, actually, Mike we're just going to have to warn people that Mike is half blind at the moment. So
podcast.
It's a bit, because he might struggle to read things at times.
No, it just means I won't be on fact-checking duties.
I just didn't feel like jumping straight into news and had to think of something. So
That's fair. So you just
Mike's
let's
blind.
just go with Mike half blind.
Not a
Yeah.
review of your new couch. I feel like that would be entertaining.
It's a pretty nice
Or
couch, leather couch.
How we missed Sports Sunday to do arguably a better thing and watch the entire Lord of the
Oh
Rings
yeah, just missed the
trilogy
entire
in
day
one
of sports
sitting.
yesterday. Not one sitting in one day.
Yeah.
Took two 40-minute breaks, which were well worth it.
I actually still don't know the results of any game other than the 49ers game from yesterday.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I heard
there's
the
some
Rams beat the Buccaneers, but other than that, I don't know any of them.
news.
Yeah, we'll put it in news then.
All right.
Yeah, so much.
All right. Well, let's just jump straight into news then. Mike, we'll go to you first.
Right, hold on, I can't read because I'm blind, but
All right, Keith, we'll go to you first. Let's let Mike figure his stuff out. Oh, go ahead,
Right
Mike.
then. Oh, right. Well, Mike.
we'll go back to me. All right, so
I'll
life
just keep
comes
you
at
on your
pretty
toes.
fast, guys. So obviously, college football being back and whatnot. One of the favourites for the first overall pick in next year's draft and a Heisman Trophy favourite in QB Spencer Rattler threw a pick during the week, and already his home fans were booing him and chanting for this backup QB to come on the pitch. Found that quite interesting and how things have gone so south for this guy.
I thought they were doing decently well this year. I haven't really watched too much of it.
I think
They're not
Yeah, no,
undefeated
just better.
still.
I think so, but it's just the fact that he's this first overall, well, tipped to be first overall
Yeah,
and Heisman thing,
like
and
top
already
two,
his
top
home
three, yeah.
fans are booing him and asking for his backup to come in.
Just because
Yeah.
he threw one pick?
I think I don't know if he threw 2 or 3, and after I just know that it was that pick the boos started happening.
Bit harsh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the first bit of news I had.
Solid. Keen, what have you got for us?
Who's blind now?
Yeah, I don't know. Is Keen he's not... Okay. I don't know if Keen's there. So I'll just go with my
Alright,
news.
Yes.
So over the weekend we had the Formula 1 Grand Prix in Sochi, I think it's called, in Russia. So-
Yeah.
And Lewis Hamilton won his 100th Grand Prix, which is pretty impressive. I think he's the first person to have done it. But it was a pretty insane race, and I'm very disappointed Lando Norris didn't win. He came so close. He was leading for a good while, and there was, with 5 laps to go, I think it started raining, and Hamilton pitted with 3 laps to go to get the wet tires, and Norris didn't and just spun, and Hamilton managed to win it.
Oof.
But some big results. Max Verstappen started 20th because he took a new engine and finished second, which is pretty impressive as well.
That is. Oh wait, so the guy didn't even finish second. He finished.
He finished like
Third.
7th, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a killer.
He spun, Hamilton passed him, and then he pitted and finished like 6th or 7th, I think.
Oh no.
I know, it was so disappointing. I was disgusted.
Was
I
there
actually love him. But
any questionable crashes or intent to crash between
no,
Hamilton and Verstappen?
no, but
Was
they
it a
weren't.
clean race?
It was a clean race, but they weren't racing each other for a while. Like, given that Verstappen had to start 20th and kind of make his way up the grid, they weren't close to each other. I don't think at any point during the race, so there wasn't any chances for them to crash. But yeah, it was a really good race though. Mike, what else have you got while we wait for Keane to come back? He's having internet issues,
Yeah.
technical difficulties.
What
Alright.
technical difficulties?
Ah, he's back.
What contract dispute?
What contract dispute?
The awkward moment when we realise you're gone because I ask you what bit of news you have, and it's just silence. So you missed the you missed the F1 discussion.
Well, that's spoiler free for him now.
That is, yeah, he won't have to worry about spoilers for Drive to Survive.
Yes. So, bit of news, some funny news from last week.
Go on.
Did you catch any of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conferences during the last week?
I heard he was giving out
After the
about
show.
a certain manager complaining,
Yes!
making it harder for them to get penalties.
Yes. A certain manager.
Somebody
Is-
Klopp was it?
Yeah. Basically, long story short, Jurgen Klopp a while ago,
Last season.
last season, just said comment. He just made a comment saying, United have gotten such and such penalties, and I've gotten less penalties in 4 years.
Which was a valid observation.
Yeah.
They were
And
getting some
then-
fucking easy penalties last year.
And now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come out and is complaining, saying refs aren't giving us penalties anymore because a certain manager said we were getting too much.
It's just fucking
Evidently.
stupid.
Evidently, they did get a penalty over the weekend.
Yeah.
And do we want to discuss the heroics of Emi Martinez and the
Emi
balls he has?
Martinez. Oh, what a beautiful man.
Did he just say no?
He before the penalty was taken, Bruno Fernandes was going to take it, and Emi Martinez was stopped right in front of him at the penalty spot, asking Cristiano Ronaldo could he take it instead. Just complete mental, just incredible mind games from Emi Martinez. Spent a good few minutes just standing in front of Bruno Fernandes going, "You take it, Ronaldo, you take it," and then Bruno Fernandes skied it. It's the first penalty he hasn't hit on target since joining United.
It's also, did you not notice, he didn't do his run up, his little hop.
Yeah, I think Emi Martinez 100% got in his head.
He's living in there rent free.
Oh, 100%. But so fucking funny.
Ronaldo say the
I've
taking the
I have
no idea what you're saying. More technical difficulties.
on my internet.
Nope. It was slightly
That
better
one
there.
sounded a bit better, alright. What we said about Ronaldo? Or I heard Ronaldo, but that's it.
Nah, he's gone.
Outside.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, that's
So
not
was she?
at all.
no.
Any other news?
I don't, Mike. Have you got any other news?
I'm scrolling. Oh God, I'm blind. The dedication. Good result. Good weekend football for Manchester City. With the top three teams all dropping points, bringing them right back in the race.
Yeah, it is huge. Also, just Dundalk have supposed to come back. It's 2-1 in that game. Bit of live updates for you. I don't know why Bowles seem to keep playing on a Monday night. But anyway. Yeah, huge result for them and a great result against Chelsea, a 1-0 win. Because
Yeah.
Chelsea, Chelsea are a fantastic team this season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them win the whole thing.
Yeah, they can do it. It'll be interesting to see. It's still long. We got our game was a bit. What was your thoughts on our Liverpool game?
Yeah, I just
Still on Liverpool.
we're not still on Liverpool.
We
We're
just
only
got to
started.
it.
How dare
You are-
you,
I
sir?
figured
so
that's
much
your
better now.
go-to. I feel like that's like I was on my Wi-Fi and I switched to my hotspot 'cause I thought that would be better, but apparently that's worse. So I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
this is perfect now.
Yes.
Okay.
What
Because
was
Ocean
your
was breaking up a
news?
little bit for me, so I thought I'd switch it.
Oh, fair.
Big news at the weekend that the USA destroyed Team Europe in the Ryder Cup, the biggest win in the
Yes.
modern Ryder Cup era. So that wasn't great. Not gonna lie.
Did you watch any of it?
Didn't get to see, no, I got to see none of it. Obviously, it was busy all day yesterday,
Yeah.
and then couldn't be arsed to do this. Normally, I would watch a bit of the Ryder Cup because it's a fun one, but
Yeah. Nah, I
didn't
didn't.
get around to it.
I didn't get any time to watch it.
No,
So
me
that's
neither.
disappointing for the lads. A lot of people are talking about Harrington selections for certain events, which I don't know too much about, but people are giving a shit about him. But
Next one's in
Think-
Ireland, isn't it? Or is it still 2 tournaments away?
I don't think it's the next one because I feel like when they did organize that one, it felt like it was ages away. It's obviously the next one or the third next one.
Yes, because it's
Well-
next one's Europe, and then it's America, then it's Europe again. We're
Yeah,
in the
so
next three anyway.
And then the next one in Europe is Marco Simeone Golf and Country Club.
Yes,
So
in Rome.
that's- Yes,
Yes,
so it's
so
probably
we're ours is 2027. It's in
Yeah.
Limerick.
yes. Got to be some going to. I heard that the resort that they have it in, literally the day it got announced, we're already outdone with requests for staying that weekend.
Oh,
That's it.
I'm not surprised.
Like 10
Putting
years
it out
away.
there. Putting
The
it
golf
out there,
course
guys.
at Adair Manor.
By that stage, we will have our press passes.
We'll get press passes, boys.
Live show.
No, well, that would be great. That would be so worth it. I remember when I was in secondary school. That wasn't too young, so it's about 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. And one of the teachers is a big golfer, loves his golf. Bit of a twat, but loves his golf.
Very fair.
And the entire Friday, because I think it was in Europe, so it would be on early enough on the Friday. The entire Friday, anyone who stepped anywhere near him, he would just kind of like shout, "If you tell me anything about the Ryder Cup, I will suspend you." Even though he didn't have the authority to do that, that was his threats of anyone tells me any spoilers, you're out of the school. And we're like, well, yeah,
That seems fair to me.
yeah.
Why did you get suspended, son? I told my teacher sworn us about the Ryder Cup. You're
I
no
said-
longer
I
my
said they were
son.
2-1 up and they won that. That's a good one.
What else you got for us, Keen?
Just a bit of, well, it's sad-ish, but also might be happy, depending on what side of the ball you're on. That Males All-Ireland winning fullback Paddy Prendergast died at the age of 95. And I'm not sure now where we stand with the curse, because he was the last starter who played, is now dead. But apparently one of the unused subs, Dr. Mick Loftus, is still alive, so we don't know.
But if he's an
Does the
unused sub,
curse-
does he count?
Does he count? We'll find out next year, I suppose.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So sad, good old 95, he did well.
He did, to be fair.
So see
Was
how
it?
Dr. McLoftus gets on.
What was it? Natural causes or?
Uh,
I just need to ask.
honestly, all I can see is just all about his sporting things. It's just saying he's dead. Anything I've read. Apparently played for Donegal for a little bit as well, so that was cool to find out.
He died of natural causes of 2 gunshot wounds to the back.
Yeah.
Ha.
Very natural. Happens all the time.
Yeah, particularly in parts of Mayo.
Accidents happen.
It would be kind of
So-
funny if they win it next year, though.
Oh, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ. I mean, they take it. After what's happened the last few years, they take it.
Oh, 100%. What else you got for us, Ian? Any more news?
Like big record-setting news, Oshin.
Go on.
A bit controversial now. Bit controversial. But did you hear about the Ravens game yesterday?
Ah,
I heard about the game-winning field goal.
But did you hear the whole story?
No.
yeah.
I heard it was a 66-yard field goal.
Yeah, Justin Tucker set a new field goal record in the NFL with 1 second to go, down by 1 to win the game. 66-yard absolute bomb. I think he'd missed 1 or 2 in the game already, so he probably didn't have the best confidence, but he is known as being one of the most automatic kickers in the world. So fair play to him. He won the game with 1 second to go, like, walk off field goal, 66-yarder, just set a record for the longest field goal. But the play before, Lamar Jackson got away with a delay of game.
Oh, really?
It was like I
Yeah.
was watching the videos of it, and it was 0 for at least a second, pushing 2 seconds before he snaps the ball.
How did
And
they
I don't think
not?
they did anything with that. I don't know, but that would have knocked them out into like the 70s of a field goal try.
Yeah, and do you know the way they have the? Some of them have some. I don't know what it is they use to estimate how far it would have been good from.
Oh yeah, no,
No,
it
I
hit the
don't.
crossbar.
Oh,
It was
really?
any longer, and he wasn't getting it.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, wow.
crossbar and over.
But
Interesting.
in terms of the game, it's another case of it's the TV show, like with the first down marker, that yellow line is pictured.
I was reading bits about this, and some people are saying that the TV broadcast is the official one, apparently, and the scoreboard copies them. So I don't know if that's actually true, but people were saying online that it is. So I don't know how official the TV one is, but most people seem to think it is actually quite official.
Well, I had seen Dan Campbell apparently commented on it, and I didn't I saw a headline that he'd commented on a missed delay of game, but I didn't realize it was like that influential.
Yeah,
I thought it was just something that they missed much earlier in the game. But
Fair.
that's very interesting. That's
yeah, because I know referees have talked about it. There's like a phantom half second you get.
yeah,
Because the referees will wait till it hits 0, and then the half second takes them to look at the quarterback and see if the ball's snapped.
yeah.
If he gets it off before they physically look at him, but
Yeah.
it was a bit of time.
Maybe he's just got a really slow neck.
He's turned around. Like the
Maybe-
most important part of the game, and someone just caught napping.
Maybe he can't turn his neck one way, so he had to go the full 360
He can't
the whole
turn
way
it
around.
left.
These things happen.
Maybe he's got a patch in one eye, and that was the eye that was watching the
Oh
time.
my god. Ah,
I have to
kinda wish
say,
we had bad internet.
you guys said how would this eye patch thing be relevant? But it's been mentioned an awful lot in the first 18 minutes.
It's kind of
I
funny.
used to, pretty much.
Hey, you
Obviously.
brought it up as well. When you were stalling for time and you went, I'm scrolling. Oh, I can't see, I'm blind.
Yeah. Because you came back to me and went, well, Keane's not here. Michael, back to your news. I was like, I've used all mine.
No, fuck's sake.
Keane, have you got anything else?
No, I think that's everything.
That's
That
fair.
seems to be everything.
I checked to see what the Barcelona score was over the weekend, see if we could shit on them this week. And they won 3-0. But I did see actually that
Yeah.
they, after their draw against Granada last weekend, we were talking about it, 1-1.
Yeah.
They, some people were comparing them to Stoke, which I
Why?
think is fantastic. Just apparently, obviously I didn't see the game, but apparently they were just playing like park the bus and hoof it kind of
Oh, God, no.
tactics. So yeah, they're like, I saw the actual headline I saw was is Barcelona being compared to Stoke, fair on Barcelona or fair on Stoke? Like, yeah, you can't say Stoke are like that shit team. That shit
Yeah.
team called Barcelona. I'd like to see them do it on a
Did you
I know.
rainy
Speaking of-
Tuesday night in Stoke.
Speaking
Sorry.
of, I was to think about. You were talking about Barcelona. I was thinking about the Champions League. 'Cause I was listening back to that episode, and I think even though I did talk young boys up, I'm pretty sure I said they were going to finish last in that group. Pretty sure I said everyone else was finishing ahead of them. No.
You hate to see it.
Did
I
you
think
see
Yeah.
Sheriff
get
was
back-
your pick to
Sheriff,
well, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Barcelona to finish third and win the Europa League. That's
Oh yeah, that's honestly not a bad show.
That I had to win a game first to get third.
like they top either Dynamo or Brentford. They'll probably top. Okay. They'll probably get a draw away in Dynamo, but hold them to a 1-0 win at home. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, 4 points to do it.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Mike?
They see that the Washington football team, his kicker recovered his own kick on the
No.
weekend.
He did what?
He recovered his own kick.
No.
Yeah, he basically. Now, to be fair, what happened was he kicked it downfield, and it's landing on about the 10, and one of the receiving team football players caught it. It bounced off his chest and then smashed off the Bills receiver, and then landed right into the kicker's hands, who's also running behind him.
Wow.
So he recovers it on the 20.
I've often wondered this, right? See when you're a punter kicking it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times returner will just let it go and they'll just let it roll.
Yeah.
Say if nobody downs it and the punter runs up, is he technically onside and can he just pick it up and run it in?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Because I think somebody would have figured this out, so I assume he's not.
I mean,
But I've always wondered,
I
is he onside?
also thought, is it possible? Say you kick it, right?
Yeah.
You kick it up, and you're going to. Can you catch it, or not catch it, but slam it against the receiving team and force the fumble that way?
Yeah, that's
You
what,
let-
well,
do that-
that's like the old school kickoff was just smash it at someone and hope they don't
No,
catch it.
no. But say you're not the kicker. You're on the side. You're getting ready to
Oh.
down it on the one, but instead of downing on the one and catching, you just smash it. If
Well,
you
no,
get a
because if you
chance.
kick it, you down it. If
Yeah.
you touch it at all, I'm pretty sure. So the second you would kick it,
So you
Then
would have
it'd be
to
marked
grab.
dead.
You would have to grab a defender and push him into the ball.
I feel like that's a different foul, though. I feel like that.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah,
but
I was,
it
thinking, I was
is-
thinking while the ball's in the air, you can like spike it.
Like in
onto
volleyball.
Yeah. onto
No,
the
but I
opponent.
assume as soon as
yeah.
you touch it, it'll be downed.
It'd be because I've often wondered that, but then you do see that the odd time when it does go into the end zone that before it hits the ground,
Yeah.
they do
They have
try
to-
and
they try and
push it
fumble
But
back,
it
that
out.
is
so-
true. As long
So
as
that's
they're
what I'm
like
thinking.
in the air.
So can you
could you get
spike
enough
it at
hang
them?
time though? You need that ball to stay in the air a long time to get that.
Yeah, I mean it's worth a shout. If anyone knows the actual rules on this, please let us know.
If anyone has contact for any NFL coaches, we want to share our ideas.
Yeah. Like,
Or
I
with the
dropped some
referees league.
nasty special teams plans. I'm just putting that out there now.
Honestly, special teams the only way I make it.
The
I have wondered if how far I could punt a football. 'Cause
only
it'll be
one way, only
interesting to
one
find
way to
out.
find out, Keen.
The next, no, we can't do it in London. There's nowhere we get space in London.
Just do it
On the
at
pitch, kid.
at the stadium.
Yeah,
Keen.
to the pitch. Run onto the pitch as soon as the snaps counted.
No,
I
it's
take
fine.
the
We're,
punt.
it's fine. We're press.
Intercepted. Oh,
Yeah.
he broke his glasses.
Um,
just casually storm the pitch. Be like, ah, it's all right. I got this one. Take
Well,
your handy there.
if Keane's gonna start the pitch, surely he has to wear our merch so the world knows.
Oh, dude, yeah, you know that guy who kept getting his girlfriend to storm pitch, storm the pitch with her like his porn site written on her.
Yeah,
We'll do one of them. Viral marketing.
it's the way to do it.
Keane,
Oh my god, should
I
we
will
print out
definitely-
flyers
I will-
and hand them out in London?
Keane, I'm just
Oh
gonna
my
let you know,
god.
I will gladly pay your bail if you do that.
I feel like this would land me in many, many more issues.
In London, yes. Not in Dublin.
It's not in the EU, so technically.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
you're fine.
You're fine as soon
That's-
as you come home.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
The last bit of news I had actually that I completely forgot about until mid conversation there was Luis Suarez set a new record.
Did he bite someone?
Nope.
Dude,
He
that was my
scored
first
in the,
reaction.
I think it was the 78th minute at the weekend, which means that he's now scored in every minute of normal time between minute 1 and minute 90 plus 7,
Fair play.
which is actually, yeah. And I find it insane that just to think about how that's
Yeah.
happened.
That is very strange. It's cool. It's a very cool record to have. It's mind blowing now when you think about it.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
Like, who keeps those stats? They just get a life. Just, you don't need to know these kinds of things.
yes, it was the 78th minute, not this weekend's game, last weekend's game.
Mm.
Yeah, he scored in the 78th minute to, like, it's just absolutely insane. But yeah, that's a fair point. Who does keep those stats? Who
Up
keeps
the
track of them?
stats,
I don't know.
isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember who I saw post it. Let me see if I can find the source so we can see who actually
We can be
keeps track of these
proper
stats.
journalists.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to fact. I can't fact check it, so
I'm working on it. All right, calm yourself.
So anyway, Mike, you're blind.
Jesus Christ.
that is correct. Can
Um,
confirm.
Fun fact: Luis Suarez is not the first footballer called Luis Suarez.
really?
Yeah, there was a Spanish lad born in 1935. Looks alright. Good things.
I mean, does it look anything like Luis Suarez? Because then we haven't ruled out he's a vampire.
No.
That's
Well,
a fair point.
Little bit. Yeah, his career just somehow ends right when Luis Suarez. Wait, let me look at this. 1987. No, it's 73 and then 87. So he had a bit of a rest. He had a bit of a rest before reincarnation.
Or did he?
I can't find where I saw that stat now, but it is a thing.
I suppose
All
we can
I
take
know
your
is-
word on it.
I think so. All right, let's move on from the news. Since I think we've covered all the news.
Should have.
To what we're going to discuss today is VAR. Mainly,
Bar.
I assume we're going to focus on the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yes.
So our main focus is
The
VAR
main
on
contention one.
in the Premier League mainly. Yeah, and just our general opinions about the implementation and use of VAR, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the first thing, Keane, you had the idea for this during the
Mhm.
week, and the first thing that came to my mind was there was an article in the Athletic during the summer that I tried to find again and I couldn't find it again, but it was with I think it was the head of PGMOL, who I cannot remember his name now. But
PGMOL.
PGMOL is the it stands for Professional Game Match Officials Board League. It's the referees. I know. I just googled PGMOL and that's what comes up. It's the Referees Association in the UK. I think it's just UK. Yeah, it is.
Is that all officiating or just football?
Just football, I believe.
Right.
So Mike Riley is the head of PGMOL.
That's like, honestly, why the fuck did they call it the Professional Game Match Officials Board?
Yeah, I don't know.
League, sorry.
It's weird, isn't it?
Like, yeah, it's really stupid.
Oh, hold on.
Nope. They adding
On
another
the
letter.
on the Premier League official website, it has it down as Professional Games Match Officials Limited.
Oh, they don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's why it
I,
would be
I'm not
limited.
gonna lie, I thought you were
but-
gonna say professionals game after league quest thing.
Oh, I thought he found the article on the Athletic.
No, I wish. But anyway, it was a very interesting article from Mike Riley, who was, I believe it was Mike Riley anyway, who was discussing the implementation of VAR and the changes they were making between last season and this season. And the main point that really stood out to me was that he said that obviously it's going to take time for VAR to be perfect. It's not going to be an overnight thing. And that when rugby brought in their video referees, it took about 7 years to get to the point that it is now, where everyone's happy with it. which made a very good point that I think a lot of people seem to just expect video assistant referees to come in and just be perfect from the get-go, which I don't think was ever going to be the case.
No, that's fair. Like,
I would agree to some extent on that, but at the same time, it's not a case of, yes, 7 years ago, but it's not like they started at the same time. They've already done the trial and error. Rugby did that trial and error, and they had it to a system where it works. Why don't just start from that spot instead of starting their own fresh system, right?
Because rugby's a very different
Yeah,
game,
'cause,
and that's
like,
not how
no,
things
no,
work.
it is, but they definitely should have followed the rugby more.
Like,
Oh yeah, I
In,
mean
like,
they should have followed
core
rugby more, but they can't just
basis
go,
of
all right,
the
this is how
thing
rugby
saying,
does
we
it.
know
This
that
we're going to do
works
it the
now.
exact same way.
Oh,
No,
we
no.
know that. Create your own system, new system, which is what I mean. I don't mean like the actual, just the process.
yeah, I definitely feel an easier process, and that shit would be a lot more cut and dry than it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure there was an easier way to start it, but it's very difficult even to get,
Oh no,
like,
100% is when did England from your league last season?
2 years ago.
no, last
three or
season was
two,
last season was the first season.
2 or 3. No, it was definitely 2, wasn't
No,
it?
it
Liverpool.
wasn't.
No, because when we won the league,
Yeah,
was the
last
first season of
season.
VAR.
That was last season, Mike.
No, last
No, that
season
wasn't
was we
last
were
season.
defending
Last
champions.
season was a horrific season. Yeah, we don't talk about last season.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
So it was 2
it
seasons
was
ago,
2.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
I was 3 because it was also in the Champions League the year before that, because I think it was just in the Champions League.
Would it-
Because that was the famous Sterling goal ruled off in the last minute.
Do the Champions League use the same system as the Premier League, or is it like different?
No, each of them seem to use different, well, slightly different variations, I believe. Yeah, I think the Euros also used a slightly different variation. Because it seems to be like I remember during over the summer, it was the Premier League itself who decided that they were going to be how they were going to change how VAR rules on like penalties and stuff. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Right.
because honestly,
Yeah.
like I was quite shocked at how little VAR seems to have control in.
Yeah.
Their 4 key match areas was a lot less than I thought that they would have. So I was actually surprised in that it's there. It is very limited to an extent, but
Well, they have
I
it.
don't know.
They have it. It only affects. What is it to say? So it's offsides that lead to a
No,
goal.
it's goals, penalty decisions,
penalty
direct red
decisions,
cards, and mistaken
and-
identity.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is it is yeah. There's not an awful lot. It's like even then you have a really weird situation where a player is offside, but the keeper saves the shot and it goes out for a corner, and then they score from the corner.
Yeah,
And
but they can't check that
yeah.
offsides.
So
Which
in
is-
situations like that, players are better off missing shots as opposed to scoring them if they're miles offside. Well, if they're offside, but it's not called by the linesman.
Yeah, that's very fair.
I
don't
think-
know.
I think there's definitely been a number of teething problems in the implementation of it. Some of which
Yeah.
they've solved, they've kind of worked on over the summer. Some which they haven't. Like the main one that sticks out in my head is linesmen just not calling offsides at all,
Oh
even
yeah,
if
there
it's
was.
blatantly obvious last year, which
That's
they really.
right. What was that? They used to keep playing them on for like 10 seconds or something to see what would happen, and then they'd call back for offsides. Wasn't it something weird like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so essentially they were supposed to, if it was close and they weren't sure, they were supposed to wait until the goal scoring opportunity is over and then say offside. Because if they scored, then VAR would check it. But if it was very obvious, they were supposed to still flag it, and they just weren't.
Yeah. Like I feel like Yeah, like they definitely could add offsides is such a big thing and it affects things like that in so many ways that they definitely could add kind of all offsides to it. But I get why they did that, but it feels like too much of a cop out for linesmen that they're never going to just call offsides ever really.
It also, I don't know if you guys remember the Sheffield United incident where the linesman flagged for offside. The ref decided not to blow the whistle, and all the defenders stopped, and a goal was scored.
Yes, I do remember that.
And I think VAR checked it, and it was not
On
offside in the end.
yeah,
So the linesman was wrong to flag, but the players stopped because he flagged, and they were expecting a whistle.
but I mean, to the extent though, you are told
Oh yeah, you're
from
top
a
from
kid, play the whistle.
yeah. It was stupid, but it
I'm
was
honestly
an
surprised you
interesting
would
situation.
see the flag in that situation. I didn't think even if you're looking that way that you wouldn't pay much attention to it.
It was one of those. It's one of those though. The goal came from. He broke. I think like the call's like on the halfway line, and it's faced. Is he in his half or not? It was John Joe
Oh,
Shelby, and it was a question: was he in his own half as the ball's played, or was he not? 'Cause he's just threw a goal.
Yeah,
fair. Yeah, that's not
You do
ideal.
also get these. Do you remember? Was it last season the VAR incident of where they had to keep playing to see when the whistle was blown for the free kick?
I don't
That
remember that
sounds
to be honest.
familiar.
It was a Brighton game. I think was it John Moss? No, it was a Graham Paul. It was one of the. Anyway, he blows his whistle. The Brighton player takes the free kick, scores it, but apparently the ref blew the whistle again as the ball's in the air. I don't know why he doesn't think. And so VAR had to view review to see had the ball crossed the line before a whistle was called.
Oh, I do remember that. So fucking stupid.
Oh, we've had some fucking issues playing lacrosse. There's this one time, right? I think we were up north somewhere. And we were playing some random athletic club, and we were playing there. And there was a team there doing like cross country training, very close to us. And essentially, what that meant was there's one lad standing there with a whistle, and people kept going up to him, and he'd blow the whistle, and they'd start running. It obviously caused utter fucking chaos in our games when people would be playing and they'd hear a whistle and they'd stop playing when it was coming from the cross country track.
Fuck's
And
sake.
we got people to go over and politely ask him to not do that because people were standing a foot away from him and he could just do anything else. He could just say go. Wouldn't affect anyone. But he was a stubborn cunt and refused. So we kind of had to play a few games where we had like double whistles. So we would like you'd only stop if we blew the whistle twice because we couldn't do anything else because your fellow was an obnoxious prick.
I was half
I
expecting
mean,
that story to keep going, and then he started doing a double whistle just to piss
No.
you off.
what happens if
Uh,
he whistled and then you whistled once and then another whistle went and it's three whistles? What happens when
it
it's
was
three
it, all right.
whistles?
It was a bad day. I'm just pointing that out. Like the worst thing was that we had like you start lacrosse quarter and after a goal you have a face off. Like not like a hockey one, but you know, you have two people in the middle facing off. And you can't wait for a double whistle on a face off. So that caused that just never got face offs right that day. It was a fucking terrible day to play lacrosse. We just could not get it going. And
Very fair.
yeah, he's still barred. No idea who he is, but he's barred.
Um, there's another standout VAR moment in my head that shows some of the teething problems it's had starting up. It's the United game against, I think it was Brighton, where the final whistle went. Players were going down the tunnel, and then all had to be called back out onto the pitch because VAR was awarding United a penalty for something that happened just before the game finished.
All
And
right, is it VAR or is it Brighton? Because they seem to be coming up a lot tonight.
yeah, I think they seemed really unlucky with it. I think in the first
Yeah.
season or two.
They've got chances as well. Ones that VAR has benefited them more than not.
To be fair, Brighton were actually, I think, statistically one of the unluckiest teams last year. They were, I think, they were the team in the Premier League last year that had the highest difference between their goals and expected goals.
Oof.
They hit
That's never
the
good.
like they hit the woodwork so many times and stuff. Kind of felt sorry for them, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
I think one of the problems VAR has is I to this day I don't know what power VAR has. And there'll be times where I'm like, can VAR do something here? And I
No,
feel that's a problem. And I
yeah,
don't know.
fair.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that. You should know, like, okay, I know for a fact this is what they can do. But then sometimes you'd be watching a game and all of a sudden VAR will just get involved. You're like, can they do that?
So if you want to know, because you might not. So those four match changing situations that I said, goals,
Yes.
penalty decisions, red cards, and mistaken identity, can only be used for clear evidence in those four areas.
See, that's the annoying thing I have.
Clear and
They're
obvious.
very
It's
vague.
just it's so subjective.
Very vague.
Like
It's the
it's-
most vague thing.
Essentially just goals, penalties, red cards, and mistaken identity. Anything to do with them, then maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But
Like, the amount
also,
of times you
it's
see
the
some...
fact that the referee, the on-field referee, has the final decision no matter what. Like,
He
Yes,
does, yeah.
that also irritates. If the ref misses it, not the rest of it, the ref doesn't see it like that, but you can clearly see it's handball. It's like, well, no, ref didn't see it that way.
Like, I don't mind that as much. I think the ref should have the final say, because he has, he's the opinion of the VAR referees and maybe a linesman or two, or whoever the fuck he wants. But there seems to be a lot of contention when it comes to soccer that they don't want to overturn their own decisions.
No.
I don't know if it's ego or what,
One
but
of the
they tend
biggest
to not want to do it.
one of the biggest problems I think that the officials had with VAR coming in was the worry that they would essentially be re-reffing a game, where they'd have the ref on
yeah.
the field and then the VAR, the video assistant referee going, "You're wrong there, change it." And I think that's part of the reason they were so reluctant to actually go over and look at the screens in the first season or two, which doesn't
Yeah,
seem
but
to be
then you
as
got-
big of an issue now, thankfully. But it was just insane to see. Like, I think in the entire first season, we reached February before one of the referees went over and used the screen, and it became huge news, which it just shouldn't have been at that point.
No, definitely not. Like, I do think they have the right idea with the restrictions in place that it can be used at A, B, and C. I think that they have the right framework. It's whether or not people use it correctly.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Mike?
I was gonna say, but then it became the joke where you knew as soon as the ref got to the monitor, you're like, "Yep, decision's overturned." So that was the joke.
But that
Start
also
walking
isn't
the
as
monitor,
big a
like-
thing anymore.
Yep, this is gonna be overturned now. I haven't seen. I haven't seen that many bars, and thankfully.
True.
Don't think-
Joe was
The only, yeah,
irritating
the only bars that I've actually seen was that Liverpool Chelsea one.
me. Oh yeah,
I think the only one I saw.
Fair.
that's fair. No, Joe was annoying me when I was doing research on this, and I'd looked at what other countries do,
Yeah.
and everyone was talking great about the Australian one. Two reasons. One, they do that video of the Australian lad who now referees in England.
Yeah,
Get
he's
him mic'd up
also.
for a
It's
game.
worth pointing out that he's going to be a Premier League referee.
Yeah,
Um,
I
It's
was
the
thinking
first
that.
game this weekend.
I
believe.
I believe so, actually. Yeah.
So there's that video of him, and then another video that they released of a referee having a discussion with VAR, and there were so many news articles, and they were like, "Oh, why can't the Premier League ever release these?" They literally just, I think, did those two. They released two listenings of referees talking about VAR, and both of them were super straightforward. There was
Yeah.
no discussion to be had. One of them was a guy getting punched, I think.
Fair.
Or one was a straight red card, and goes, yeah, it was a tackle, but he was off the ground, and the referee gave him a yellow. So the referee went over to the video, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, studs are up," and then the video VAR was like, "Yeah," he's like, "Give him a red for that." Yeah, grand. And then I was like, and everyone's like, "Oh, isn't it great? They talk through these decisions, and we can hear them." And I was like, "Yeah, but there was no discussion there. You released the most straightforward VAR incident ever. Like, nobody learned anything from that." Like, why is this so great? They released them going, "Oh yeah, that's a red card." Yeah, grand. And like, I don't know, people seem to be praising that, and I was like, "There's nothing to praise there."
It's
If they
worth-
regularly release them, that would be fantastic. but it doesn't appear to do that.
It's worth mentioning that, and this comes back to your point earlier about why they didn't just start from the basis that rugby had. In the MLS, when they were using it a few years ago, they broadcasted the discussions between the referee and the video assistant referee for a few games, and FIFA stepped in and told them to stop.
Really?
And I cannot remember what the reasoning behind it was. I don't remember seeing what the reasoning behind it was, but I just remember seeing that FIFA came in and told them to stop broadcasting those discussions.
Was that because it was before FIFA did VAR?
I know it was before it came in like the Premier League and stuff, but so it was before UEFA brought in VAR, but I'm not sure. I can't remember at what point it was, but it just seems insane that they would actually
was
try and
a
hide
year
those
ago.
discussions. Was it only a year ago?
Yeah, Major League Soccer was one of the first leagues to transmit the VAR communications with the referee, but now they've been prohibited to do so. Well, this article on it came out a year ago. MLS decided to be as transparent as possible with their fans by transmitting the communications between the referee and the VAR.
Well, what do you think the thought process is, though, for hiding the discussions? Like, I
It's
think,
stupid.
yeah, I think it makes it more engaging for fans. Well, I suppose fans in the stadium won't get the but at home, the people be like, all right, what's the thought process? And I feel like
Yeah.
it's only a plus. Like, if they make a bad decision, if you listen to their thought process, you go, okay, I see where he's coming with this.
Yeah, I could
see his thought
understand why why they made
Yeah.
the decision.
Not the, oh my god, what the fuck is he thinking? Like, how is that not? And then you have
Like-
all these questions, and then they don't come out later and say, there's nothing to discuss. Like, I know refs, and I'm all for them not coming out and say, yeah, here's my thought process, but we just need to know something.
No, yeah, it's literally all positives for them to broadcast that live. All positives. The only
If-
reason is a negative if they have like really not qualified people doing it.
Incompetent referees.
Incompetent, that's the word. Like, you would think people, and I'm sure you are going to disagree, you would think that the Premier League referees would know their rules well enough that when they're given an opportunity for VAR, that they should get it right, and they should have the reasonings for getting it right.
I think a lot of them are surprisingly incompetent, but that's not the point.
Yeah, that's not the
Uh,
point. That's a different episode.
But I
Yeah.
do think part of people's issues with referees and the decisions they make is the lack of transparency and also the lack of accountability. Like, if a
Yeah.
referee has a terrible game, nothing happens. He's had a terrible game and he may have cost the team 3 points. He doesn't get, like, there's no accountability there or any
I assume-
consequences.
I assume that if the referees, like, I assume referees are graded
Yeah,
like,
and I think
on each match, and if
Yeah,
they do
but
bad, I assume that they.
No, it's the slap on the wrist. They don't, unless it's like an absolute egregious mistake. You'll get one where they'll get dropped the division, but usually it's
even
they'll
then,
slap
that's
the
just
wrist.
for a game or two.
Like, what was it? The Brighton one where the ref just absolutely screwed up. He said he was pulled because of injury for the next week. It wasn't like he was pulled. Yeah, that they just said, oh, he was injured, so he's not refereeing next week.
That is quite shocking.
And like it's even shocking. Like, I know Sky Sports they have the ref watch, and it's the most infuriating thing to read, where they have former referee just go over all the contentious decisions.
Mm.
And 9 times out of 10, even if there's a mistake, like clear and obvious things, like, for me, I could see why it was a red card. So I'd give it as like, that's not what that the whole thing is. We just need accountability. Just say it's wrong if it's wrong. Don't say, I see why.
See for like a regular, like, say a tackle happens and a referee gives them a red card. Do they tend to review them on VAR, or do they let them go unless the VAR lad's like, nah, have a look at this? Does that happen often in the games you have watched? Just out of curiosity.
Do you mean if the red is given, can
Can they, like, because I assume just judging by the way that the VAR thing is worded here, that they should be able to review that.
I think they review it, but unless it's like clearly obvious that he doesn't make contact with the player,
Yeah.
it's not going to be rescinded
No,
because it
yeah,
has to
but
be.
it's like, do they check them, or have
I
you seen any of them
believe
checked?
they do, but I don't remember seeing any of them
Yeah, yeah.
overturned. Having
Yeah.
said that, there have been red cards given in
From
the
yellows.
VAR era and then overturned on appeal. Like the subsequent ban has been
Yeah.
overturned on the appeal after the
I
game,
get you.
Having
which
said that,
surely then undermines the red card in the first place.
give VAR
Especially if VAR
credit.
was used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
VAR did do. Was it 2 weeks ago? Kyle Walker got sent off for a tackle in the box, but VAR reviewed it and saw that it wasn't a tackle. The was it the Norwich striker tripped himself up. The ref awarded a penalty and then double punishment sent off Kyle Walker. VAR reviewed it and saw there was no actual contact by Walker. He just tripped himself up. They rescinded the penalty and brought Walker back onto the pitch.
Fair. I also feel like in situations like that, particularly somewhat with goals, but especially with direct red cards, that if the referee does review it and says it is a red card, then that gives, especially to the players, an era of, right, he must be right then.
Yeah.
We haven't been screwed over here. That obviously, a lot of players aren't going to get that confirmation, but I feel like it helps sell it that it was the right call, but I don't know.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. You probably have players less inclined to think that a referee was influenced by
I mean, I think that
them or
does fall
influenced
back
by
on
the crowd or anything like that.
that does fall back more on competent if you believe the ref is competent,
Yeah.
because otherwise nothing he'll do will actually affect that. Because
Um,
I think particularly because we all watch a lot of the NFL, they use a lot more video referee reviews than the soccer would, because it's like at a slower pace game, so it doesn't affect pacing too much.
yeah.
But fuck me, I hate the black box mentality that both of them have, where the paid refereeing experts are going to tell you what's going to happen, and then just the opposite happens because you don't know what they're talking about,
Yeah.
and that does irritate me. Like, what one was I watching? I was watching some college one the last day. Oh, it was a targeting one. Yeah, the quarterback got rid of the ball very late, and just before he got rid of it, he essentially got charged down from the front. But the lad who hit him was looking at his feet and essentially hit him with the crown of his helmet first.
Right.
And the refereeing expert was literally sitting there and he was like, yeah, this could be a targeting or could not. It just depends on what the referee wants to give him, because he didn't hit him particularly hard. Definitely was a foul, but he did hit him with the crown of his helmet first.
Yeah.
So you can call whatever way you want to go here. And I think because they originally gave him the targeting and then reviewed it, that they were like, yeah, we'll stick with the targeting. And that was kind of weird.
I suppose that comes down to like the letter of the law and
Yeah.
How it's
versus
judged.
versus
First opinion.
There's a
Yeah, like
phrase for it that I can't remember. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Um,
it was probably a bit harsh, but I think like maybe technically, like I don't know what the exact wording on in. If it's just if you hit him first with the crown of your helmet on his helmet, then it's immediate ejection, or what's the crack? Because he
Yeah.
did hit him first with the helmet, but it wasn't a lot. But yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think VAR has improved this season. It definitely seems better. Seems to be working better this season than it was the past few seasons. I think
Yeah.
part of that helps with the fact that they've specified that not every contact in the box has to be a penalty
Yeah.
after
True.
the Sterling incident at the Euros.
Due to VAR, would
Yeah.
you assume that there's less diving? Or are people just throwing themselves about it now hoping to get something?
There's still.
There is
It's
still
just-
quite a bit.
Because VAR only intervenes for in the box. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen
Oh.
outside.
Yeah, fair.
So, like, say for instance, I dive outside the box, ref gives the free kick,
Yeah, you can't
we
check
score
that.
from the free kick. It's not going to be checked because it's
Yeah,
They
you
can't
can't
check.
check before that the free kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very fair. Because actually, one thing that I did think was interesting, I heard about this come back 3 or 4 years ago. And I know it was on a trial base in Germany, in like the German lower leagues, that they had this thing where if you went down, that there's an element of the referee could ask you if you dived or not, and if you said you didn't dive, then the referee could award whatever penalty or free kick. But then if it's showed on video that you did dive, that you were given an automatic like 3 or 4 game suspension.
That's a really interesting way to do it.
I don't think it's a right way, but I think it's an interesting thought
I mean,
process.
one thing I've always thought should have been introduced, and we could do it as separate. You know, why they have retrospective punishment for incidences that are missed, right?
They're supposed to have it for diving as well, I believe.
Do they have it for diving?
It's supposed to be, but they just don't do it.
Yeah,
fair.
But in the
if they
same way
just-
that they don't yellow card players for diving.
they just need to clamp down on it. I guarantee it's one of those because there's no punishment. Well, in practice,
Because the
there's no
punishment isn't
going.
enforced,
Yeah, that the diving's still prevalent in the game, but it is going to be until they clamp down on it. Like another one that I know it's very hard to enforce, so I give credit that it's very difficult. Is hands in the box not allowed to happen, but it happens so often, nearly every corner. They clamp down on it.
Yeah, people have definitely gotten better at that.
That is
just one of
because
those-
they did clamp down on it for a few games
Yeah.
and gave a ton of penalties,
Yeah,
and players
Because
just stopped doing it
that
as much.
that's something I was shocked about watching in the Euros. Because when I did watch football, like you were climbing on top of everyone to get ahead in the ball from a corner, and I couldn't get over how good players were in the Euros at not doing that.
Yeah.
That's because now they have VAR as a thing now. It's like,
Yeah,
that's one of the things. If a player goes down in the box, it's going to be seen.
yeah, true.
So they just need to clamp down on diving, and if they do that, players will stay on their feet again. And then you also got I know this is a VAR episode, but just so we got to diving.
Oh, we can talk about it.
The amount of time, and it does annoy me, and it doesn't help the case of you see teams all the time where players are being punished for staying on their feet, where they get shot blocked, stay on the feet, but the chance is gone, but the ref says play on, and you're saying they shouldn't be punished for that either.
Yes,
Yeah.
and all that does is
Encourage them to go to
diving.
ground.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Explain it to me again, like I didn't pick that one up.
So if a player gets fouled but doesn't go down, stays on their feet to try and take the
yes.
shot,
Yeah,
miss the shot,
that is an issue. Yeah,
and then even you hear commentators go, "Oh, he's being punished for staying on his feet," which is just
Yeah.
a terrible culture to have in the game. Like you shouldn't be punishing players for not diving.
Yeah.
or for trying to stay up. That's fair. I feel like one thing with the diving, when compared with kind of hands on the back, is a lot more obvious.
That's
Like
the
I
thing.
think refs
Yeah,
are
I mean,
kind of maybe a bit afraid to give it a yellow card.
It is possible
For a
for a
dive.
player to be brought down and it not be a foul,
Yeah, it's
but
very
it not be a
possible, yeah.
dive at the same time. It can be
Yeah, I
difficult
think
to
that's-
to
and trying to-
establish.
Like unless they do the best way to crack down on that would be kind of VAR to have a say on it, so that they don't stop the game, but that the VAR official can tell the referee to give a yellow for something
That's what
if they
I
do want to
think.
crack out on
yeah.
diving, but
Even-
and
even-
solely keep it to diving.
Even
you
if
can't
they
do
just
that
go
something
for
else.
the most blatant dives, the ones where a player goes down and there's clearly no contact, but they go down screaming.
Yeah,
That's
I always-
That's one thing I've always said, that they should give a yellow card. You know, when a player goes down and they're like rolling around, they're all injured, medical thing, and then they're up and running in 2 seconds. I think that
good old
that's when they
Ciro
should get.
Immobile.
What
It's
a
not
man.
even true, but just all that should be clamped
So
down and say, look, all right,
Yeah, it
you were
should be.
clearly play acting there. That's a
'Cause-
yellow for time wasting.
Whenever they do, like, you see them with the big shouts and, as if they've been shot, all in my head ever goes off is, yeah, no, don't give him whatever the fuck he wants. Like, surely if you're good at diving, you don't do that, because it looks too obvious that you are
I
diving.
think-
That
The
was that was
best-
also made so much more obvious last season with no fans in stadiums.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair, yeah.
I think the best one I ever saw that was, and it was a red card challenge all day long, but Jamie Carragher absolutely caught Nanny right on the shin.
Hmm.
Like lunged in, out of control lunge, caught Nanny on the shin. Absolute red card, but whatever reason, the ref just said play out which thing, but then Nanny got up, walked to the referee, and then fell back down on the ground. I think that's what sold the. Yeah, no, that's not it. That's not red. That's what convinced the ref that it wasn't red. But it was a red card. Even Carrigan to this day will say, "Yeah, that was a red card. What saved me was that he getting up and walking back to the ref to show him."
Yeah.
Did you ever see those photos of David Luiz lying down on the ground,
laughing,
smiling,
oh
but
my
you could
fucking
see him smiling
God,
and laughing?
Yes. Pretty sure that was against United, wasn't it?
Yeah, and your
I
man
feel
got
like he's
sent
done
off.
it a few times.
Your man got sent off for when he's smirking, the grin.
I hate him so much.
Bit of an enigma.
Like, there is a lad in my class in college. His name is also Kean, and he was kind of tall. I don't know, 6'4", and he had like essentially ginger afro, and we did used to call him David Luiz, and he fucking hated it. And he also just didn't watch football, so he didn't know why we were calling him David Luiz, and it was I enjoyed it. He looked kind of like him.
All right, Keane promotes bullying.
heard it
That's
here
all I
first.
get for this.
You heard it
Little
here
bit,
first,
yeah.
folks.
Yeah, I enjoy taking the piss.
Bullying. Yeah,
A little bit,
okay,
yeah.
Sounds like bullying to me, Keane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 90% of what I ever say is always sarcastic. So yeah.
Well, I don't condone it, so I just need to point that out, and I don't think most people does either.
No, I'd just like to point out that this podcast, Keane's opinions are his own and don't represent this podcast or the other presenters of this podcast.
Exactly.
Mike bullies more people than I do.
Mike's a scumbag though, so it's to be expected.
All right. We also don't condone against blind people at the moment, do we?
You're only half blind, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Still blind.
Grand. Does anyone have any final comments to say about VAR?
No.
Why don't we just give our one sentence on it?
All right, Mike.
Room to improve.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mike, would you have said that it's better or worse overall for football?
Better.
Fair.
You have to say it's better. Like I know people say that sport, but VAR does get decisions right as well.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Like, I feel like within a couple of years, if they do genuinely work on improving it, it will make the sport
Like
far better.
from the other sports I watch, I know that the technology does work.
We can fix it.
You just have to get competent people using it.
Exactly. It's there. It just needs
No
to be.
Alberto Riveron.
Give people like Gene.
Oh, get Gene involved. Geez, he'd straighten them out very
I mean,
fast.
give the job to Peter Crouch and just have ask Crouchy.
I mean, I feel like someone like that who isn't a part of refereeing, who's just a well-known face, would genuinely add a lot of credibility. Who is just a football fan.
Something you could suggest, I know it's not the thing, but trying to encourage ex-players to get in on it. Because they played the game, they know the rules.
I'm
They
of the
know better than
opinion
most.
that the players do know the rules, but they do know them worse than referees.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But
Yeah,
But it's
thoughts?
not
What's
their
your
job to know the rules.
no? Yeah.
Final thoughts, Ocean?
It's definitely improved the game, but there's a lot more improvement to come for it.
Fair.
But it's
Fair.
definitely made the game better, in my opinion. Kean, have you opinion?
Well, I like the idea of VAR, but I watched a fair bit of Euros, but I don't have a strong opinion on it, other than whenever something gets viciously done wrong, then I see about it on social media. But aside from that, I don't feel like I've seen enough to really
Fair.
have too strong an opinion on it.
Very fair.
Yeah.
So the unanimous decision from the podcast is
We're taking a stance.
we're taking a stance. This podcast is taking a stance right here, right now.
We're pro-VAR and
We're
anti-bullying.
pro-VAR, anti-bullying, except for Kean apparently.
Yes.
But we all agree that there's room for improvement for VAR.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a good stance to have.
Yeah.
Except for the pro-bullying part from Kean.
Yeah, kid. Yeah, you need help.
Jesus, Kean. Absolute scumbag.
And we know
Next
why
thing you'll
he's
be calling
mad.
people over 30 old. Oh,
I know, right?
how dare
That's
you,
proper
sir.
bullying.
It's ageist. That's what that is, Kean. And we won't stand for it here on this podcast.
No, you
We
have
won't stand for
never
it.
talked shit about people in their 30s before this.
I mean,
Nope.
I'd like to think I safely have said I have not.
Pretty sure that's all Oisín. Oisín's been the one who's talked shit about people in their 30s.
Yeah, that's Ushi. That ain't me. I'm still sound.
I stand by what I said about. I'm pretty sure I've only talked shit about footballers over 30. Not normal people in their 30s. I don't think.
No,
you're saying-
you've
I
definitely
can't
said.
fully remember, but
So you're saying
No.
he can't be a footballer? Is that what you're saying? Normal people can't be footballers.
No, there was something about we were talking about how old someone was, and then I said they were 31, I think, and then Oisín said, "Yeah, God, he's old," or vaguely something
Of course,
like that.
Keed would be involved in this bullying thing.
No.
we're all anti-bullying on the podcast, and that's all
Except
you
for
need to
Keane.
know. Except for
Yeah,
Keane.
that's the tagline: anti-bullying.
Let's call this episode anti-bullying.
Anti-bullying with a little bit of VAR.
We've taken a number of stances in this episode. And I think we stand by each and every one of them,
Except for Keed.
except for Keane.
That's why he had to leave earlier. We had to kick him for his
He had,
bullying
he had to go bully someone outside.
Yeah.
Alright.
On that note,
Yeah, well, I think we'll just leave it there. So
Keed got some lunch money to collect.
all right, now I feel bullied. Okay.
Yeah.
Clearly everyone
Yeah,
on the
Mike,
podcast
stop
is
bullying
okay with
Keane.
bullying.
Oh God, it's a circle.
Yeah, it's a bully circle.
all right. The only stance we stand by is the VAR one.
Yes.
All right. Good episode. Thanks for listening, guys, and feed the algorithm.
Yeah, let us know what you think of our in the comments if you're on YouTube, because I don't think any other platform has comments, and if they do, we don't check them.
I will promise
I'm
I will
pretty
try
sure
and read
they
them as
don't.
soon as I get eyesight back.
But
And
if,
emails. If you are on other platforms, we have emails to comment on, or well, send us your comments on.
if you're gonna say that, I'm gonna have to fucking give out the email. Hold on.
I mean, you could leave it in the. Oh no, you can't leave it in the YouTube comments.
All right. The email is, if anyone does have any comments or they want to send in, the good, the bad, and the mic at gmail.com.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
Well, no, it's not an ampersand in the email though. It's just the word and. The good, the bad, and the mic at gmail.com.
Yeah, we didn't think about that when we did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Look-
didn't think he'd have to send an email out until you called him out on it.
I'm just calling people out. I do what I want.
Fuck the system.
Yeah, I feel like it's how
But feed the
other
algorithm.
people can engage with us. To
That's
drive
The new tagline.
engagements. I mean, that doesn't feed the algorithm because that's our Gmail. So
That
it'll
is
just
true.
help us engage
Oh.
with people. All
So yeah,
like,
either send
one
us an
person who
email
listens
or
on
drop us a
Podbean.
comment. And as always, fuck the system and feed the algorithm. Cheers.